Hi, so I'm going to walk you through the app in a bit more detail, show you around, and give you a rundown of some of the features. So as you can see, the app is divided into three sections. Discover, which is the place where we curate music for you based on what instrument and music you play and at what level. You, which is basically your profile section, so where your personal library playlists, uploads, and annotations live. And search, which is, of course, the place you go to find the music you're after. The Discover page is what you're presented with when you start your nkoda trial or when you log back in. That's because the first thing we want to show you is the breadth of music which we have, which is relevant to you, and to get you interacting with the library as quickly as possible. We start with a little dialog box which asks you what instruments you play and to what level. To show you the way the system works, I'm going to quickly pick keyboard and violin at a high level, as well as something a little more unusual like double bass as an instrument that I'm starting to learn. When I've completed selecting my instruments, you'll see that the Discover page reloads with content which is more relevant to my needs. nkoda is unique in that in just a few seconds you can browse through a huge collection of works curated for you. At the top of the page, we have the Discover carousel, where we curate banners that lead to playlists of content for our publishing partners, for our artists, or for a particular theme. Below that, you'll find all the content that's been curated for the instrument and difficulty level you've selected, and you can see the variety of music as I scroll through it. Now, let's imagine I find something I like and I decide I want to add it to my library or perhaps share it with another musician. If I click the three dots context menu on the bottom corner of the cover, I can add the piece to my library, to a playlist, see more works by the composer, or share with other musicians. I'm going to add it to my library for now and save it for later. Let's imagine I want to go looking for some more organ music by Bach, so I'm just going to hit search. In search, you can either find a work by searching for the title and the composer, or I can explore the catalogue more broadly. So let's type in J.S. Bach organ works. So you can see there's a playlist of J.S. Bach complete organ works, and that looks like what I'm after. Once I'm in the playlist, I can press the context menu again and save it to my library. As you can see, I also have the option to save individual works in this playlist by pressing the plus button here on the right. And just there's the piece that I saved earlier. Now, let's go and find it in my library. This is my next stop, the You section. The first thing I see are the pieces I've played recently and the playlists I've looked at. Next to it is my personal library, so individual works and playlist collections. My uploaded scores after that, then my annotations, where I can see all the annotations I've made as well as share them, and finally, the scores I've made available offline. Now I'll go back to my library section to see those pieces I've just saved. So in music, you can see the two pieces I've saved and the playlist. So if I click on one of those titles, I'm taken to the title level where you'll see the different parts of the piece. Of course, in this case, I've picked an organ piece. There's only one, but for orchestral sets, you'd have every part in the orchestra. In the title view, I'm presented with different pieces of key information, the composer, instrumentation, publisher, and the kind of music. And if I click on the sheet music icon on the left, I'm taken to our score viewer. The first thing you see is navigation view, which allows you to scroll through the whole score quickly and easily. Down the right-hand side of the bar, you can see the music loading. At this level, you can also add bookmarks, creating a colored dot on the right-hand scroller. Hide and show pages, or quickly store the score offline. To enter a page, simply tap. This is our full page view. To turn a page, simply tap or swipe on the corners of the screen, or use the arrow keys if you're on a desktop. Our in-house file format, the .kda, provides the complete security we need to ensure our publishing partners' materials are safe. It's lossless, which means I can zoom in on the score without losing quality and without any pixelation. As you can see, we're quite proud of it. To start annotating, you can open the toolbar on the left with a tab or hold down anywhere on the screen. Our first tool is the Smart Pen. This is driven by machine learning and can recognize several hundred musical symbols. When you draw a symbol from the library, the algorithm will detect it and correct it into a beautiful typeset version. The next tool also uses the same extensive library of musical symbols. We call these presets. Tap or click twice from the second icon and you're presented with the library in 3 tabs. If you go to all, you can search for the symbol you want. You can choose the color as well as change the size. And when you're ready, drop it anywhere in the score. You can also create your own library by adding symbols to your favorites by tapping the heart icon in the bottom right. If you click twice on the third icon from the top, we have our scalable symbols, which are more dynamic than the static presets. These include slurs, faves, and hairpins. Pick a symbol, drop it in the score, and drag to resize it. Then there's our free pen. This is the simplest drawing tool we have. You can select its color and its thickness, and then draw as normal. Our highlighter works just the same, as you might expect. The eraser removes whole objects in one go. All you have to do is select the tool and tap on the annotation you want to get rid of. You can also select a text box, within which you can write specific technical information, comments on interpretation, or even a translation on a vocal piece. To add one of these, you select the tool and tap where you want the box to go. You can also reshape and move the box around, as well as change the size and color of the text. This is the Move tool that does what you might expect. With the Lasso tool, you can freely select, move, scale, and delete any markings that you've created. First, you draw a loop around anything you want to edit. You can then move it by dragging the selected marking anywhere on the page. You can resize them by pinching in and out on the touchscreen or with the trackpad. And in the same mode, you can rotate them. You can also delete it all by selecting the bin icon attached to the selection. We all make mistakes, and that's why you can undo and redo. If you click on the bottom icon of the toolbar, you'll see your annotation layers menu. Annotations in nkoda are stored and shared in these layers, and you can have as many of these as you want. As you can see, I created one earlier, and if I tap on that icon, I can show that layer and hide it again. You can also create a new layer by clicking or tapping on the plus icon in the top right-hand corner of the menu, naming it. This allows musicians to store multiple layers of information, analysis, and guidance that they've either made or received, and without ever having to sacrifice one set of markings for another. When you're done, you can leave annotation mode by tapping the X on the toolbar. And to leave a score, you can either pinch out to get back to navigation view or tap once to get the menu at the top. So that's the Mini Grand Tour. nkoda was designed to be simple and intuitive, to help musicians make music and to do so seamlessly and effortlessly. We're really proud of how easy the complex functionality we've built is to use.